they'll be like, oh, he did that move and he, purposely hit it soft because he saw the person was leaning that way,
Yes.
And
that's
I think
the stuff I think about
exactly,
when I watch tennis.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And then another sport, for example, or motorsport is NASCAR. I grew up watching NASCAR with my dad, well, my whole family, but really with my dad. And I loved it. It's funny to say this. I love watching the cars go in a circle the whole time. And that's what people would say is it's boring to watch because it's just cars going in a circle the whole time. It's only fun when they crash, right? And I'm sure that you've probably heard that argument before with NASCAR, but
right. No, I love it, and to understand everything about how the car's tuned,
exactly,
the number of the tires, how they're able to hold that edge. Like
exactly.
Basically, the car is set up to handle
exactly,
a very specific situation.
Yeah. And like if you think about like drafting, and if you have like a teammate in front of you in the pack, are you guys going to draft behind each other to the last lap and slingshot behind? Like it's certain things where if you didn't grow up on it, or if you don't know what's going on, it seems not as interesting as if you grew up watching it, or if you actually participated.
I think NASCAR and baseball have this in common, is that to the average viewer, it's a boring activity, and so the more boring it is to the average viewer, the more complex and nuanced and storied it is to the seasoned viewer or someone who has done it.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I mean, and really, you could say that for any sport. I mean, like you said, there are different extremes to it. Like going from hockey, which is all action, to let's say baseball. Another example is rugby, and I have absolutely no idea besides get the football looking thing to the end of the field, right?
Yeah,
seriously.
Me too.
But I enjoy watching it because it's just dudes like bashing at each other, and it's interesting to watch.
Right.
And I would have no idea what's going on if they said what play just happened there. I'm like, I don't know, they just hit each other and got the ball going the other way now. Oh. But to somebody who, let's say, played rugby, they'd be like, oh, he did this move, and they're passing it to other people to avoid other guys. It's an insane kind of lingo that people have, and
maybe that's
deep
why,
understanding.
Maybe that's why things like UFC get so popular so fast.
Exactly.
It's simple. Two dudes, who wins?
Exactly.
Go.
So yeah, I think that sports it's totally. It's like a hidden language and a hidden, meaning depending on who you are, really,
right. Should we close it with one more song?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, let me set this up and we'll do it.
Mm-hmm. Got it. I'm sure. What was that saying you would always say when we would play, like, 12 bars?
It'd be like, it's a blues riff and B.
Yeah.
Just watch me for the changes and try to keep up.
Yeah.
You know what that's from?
No.
That's from Back to the Future.
Oh, okay, now that you say it, now I do get it. Oh, man. I'm so uncultured. I'm sorry, guys. I'll play the riff a couple times. You'll probably get the vibe. Patterns on the glass, illuminated by fluorescent headlights, and bad dreams coming true. But it's too old to let it go. We've come too far for no one to know. Sweater weather on its best behavior. The cold lingers in my heart. I like that. Clouds are forming and they're brainstorming ideas, give me to you, but it's too hard to let go. We come too far for no one to know. But it's too hard to let go. We've come too far for no one to know. For no one to know. Yeah. Awesome.
Good. Well, I do believe on that note. We call it a day.
Oh yeah.
This is great.
Yeah, I had a great time. This was definitely so much fun.
Oh
It's actually my first podcast. And I watch a lot of different, and I watch and listen to a lot of different podcasts. And going into today, I was just like, okay, like how am I gonna act and stuff like that. And once I got in here, I was just like, oh yeah, I just got to be myself, and be all good. So
That's the whole point of what I'm doing this. I mean, this came from like just the thought that I should like. It kind of goes back to what I was saying in the beginning around like wishing I had more audio of my dad.
Yeah.
Of like conversations. And so you extrapolate from that, and the thought is like, okay, well, I moved to this new area. My family and I are putting roots down in here. We started this jam that makes me really feel part of the community.
Mm-hmm.
Our medical practice is doing well, and people are getting known as Dr. Connor in the area, and that how does that feel? And the thought is, what better way to learn and to really get roots in than to just interview the town?
Oh yeah,
yeah. And capture the stories. I mean, you got like the first one going. I mean, like Thaddeus, who came to every jam, telling me about growing up here and how there was, there used to be just like dirt and riding dirt bikes and stuff, and like hearing those stories, or how did Joe Norris end up here and buying his house sight unseen?
Right.
And like that.
It's
kind
definitely
of thing,
it's definitely a unique thing that you're doing of, interviewing people that maybe wouldn't normally be interviewed and getting unique stories from it, like you just said of the people who lived here originally, and just getting those stories that if you didn't ask, then nobody would know about them. It's an awesome thing that you're doing. I really like the podcast.
Thanks, man. Cool. Well, you're coming back. We'll do this again.
Definitely.
And why don't you tell everybody, just remind them where they can hear more about your music and stuff like that. What would you like to impart?
So you can find my EP Behind the Door, all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music. You can use them in your TikToks. You can use them on your Instagram stories.
Well, we can't stop now. We have to talk about TikTok.
Oh, okay, fine. But seriously,
it's where my age difference has popped up.
Right.
I don't.
I had a TikTok account when it first started up, and I noticed I was getting so addicted to it that I deleted it. I was like, I'm spending too much on my phone of just scrolling through videos, random videos. And I was like, okay, like that was that. It's just a little, what's the word I'm looking for? It was just basically a little phase, right? And then TikTok it kept on going. It just kept on going. And I'm like, this is crazy. And my mom was constantly like, Jayden, like, you need to make a TikTok for your music. She's like, I keep on seeing these TikToks of, people posting TikToks with their own music, and their music is getting played and they're getting a lot of views and likes. And I finally gave in, and I was like, okay. And so then I made a TikTok account just strictly for my music. I told myself, I'm only going to look at it if I'm going to post something, and that's what I'm going to leave it at, right?
Yes.
And I've mostly kept true to my word of just going on there to post. And the videos I've been posting have been doing, pretty well for just starting up the account. I have like 17 followers, but I'm getting like 500 views on TikToks, which is, to me, really cool.
Yeah.
And I've started to view TikTok as, and really all kind of social media, as not necessarily like an evil, but more of like a tool, and a tool to get, my music out there, really. And so, same with Instagram and Facebook and all those, is I'm using it more as, I'm going to go on here not because I want to see what Joe Schmo is doing. I mean, sure, that's great. I follow people that I'm really interested in what they're up to, but I'm not going to invest, a large part of my life into it. I'm just going to really use it as, this is what I'm doing now, check it out. I just released some music, check this out. And I've really had that kind of full circle moment of really kind of using what's new and hip, like TikTok, to my advantage as an artist, as an upcoming artist.
That is a very thoughtful breakdown. I appreciate it. Like, my one buddy would say, well, I'll preface this by saying I used to be like the new media director for a record label, and I booked all the tours for my bands I was in. I took care of the marketing. Like, I was super embedded in that stuff, and maybe I just burnt out on it because about 4.5 years ago, I just stopped using Facebook. I never really got into Twitter. And like at the time that Instagram started rising up was when I got off Facebook, so I never really got into Instagram, and so I just don't even like. I just kind of totally fell off on it.
Yeah.
And like, I guess the thought like around tools, like I always thought like, if you're not using it as a tool, then you are the tool. or like the thought of like, if you don't know why it's free, it's because you're the commodity, Yeah. So like, if you keep that mindset, it keeps you from being a little bit too soaked up into it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But whatever, to each their own. It's not my own anymore, I guess.
Yeah. But back to like,
says the person trying to promote a podcast.
Yeah. So. That's the thing is it's in the day and age that we are in today. If it's almost like, you're always going to be one step behind if you don't have that social media presence, I guess you would say. Yeah. And really, like I said, I've tried to make the switch from using social media as like a time consumption kind of thing, and change it from that into a promotional kind of tool, to show people, come see my show, or like I said, like this is, what I've been working on and that kind of stuff.
Right.
But yeah, so basically, you can find my EP, all these tracks on it on all streaming platforms, and you guys can follow my Instagram at Jayden Secor Music.
You might want to spell it. It's Jayden.
Jayden Secor Music.
Got it.
And I'm pretty much pretty active on there, just trying to show people what I've got going on, especially during COVID. I think that it's important that that I'm staying active on it and showing people what I'm up to. Because totally. I think people are interested, and I think that I'm hoping that if I'm releasing a video of me just playing, that it gives people that minute of of entertainment that they might be lacking right now. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, Jayden, thank you.
Thank you very much, Connor. This was awesome.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.